It's time for war with the coronavirus and everything going on. But this is the kind of warfare, you know, that I just feel so passionate about. It's a declaration. It's actually a declaration that I released, and I believe it before, but I just believe it needs to be said over you again. I'm working on a podcast, and I was finishing up, and I was just thinking about myself and kind of the cracks and the things that go on in my head, and then I've sat down and I've watched the news a few times about the coronavirus and everything else, but I'm going to pray, going to continue to stay forward. But when I say this is time for war, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like, I believe nothing shifts things quicker than declarations. So the war that's on you may have to do with your mind, your will, or your emotions. So it's a soul health issue. And I'll get passionate about that because it's affected me even in some things, a fall in my health. And it's like today I sat down and I made some declarations, and I just want to speak this one declaration over you. Because I believe if you're listening this far along, I believe just someone needs to speak something over you. I'm going to put it in the airwaves, live or recorded. I'm just going to trust God to shift atmospheres with this thought. Now, the thought was set up earlier about this. It's letting go. Sometimes with declarations, you got to let go and catch what's coming at you. I thought of a trapeze artist. For that trapeze artist, they're hanging on, watching the news maybe, and they've got to let go and catch the bar that comes their way. A long time ago, as a little girl, I was studying this. I remember because I was a little girl and I wrote it down. And I remember writing down, what did they say? The trapeze artists literally have to say, I'm going to throw my heart over the bar. I was a golfer then, so I was like trying to make declarations. I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw my heart over the bar. When the trapeze artist throws their heart over the bar, there is a forward movement. There's an eye movement. There's a will movement. There's a heart movement. And then they throw their heart over the bar coming and they catch it. Whew. I think some of you need to throw your heart over the bar, and what you're facing may have nothing to do with on the news. It may be just stuff you're going through in your own life. You may be like that dear Instagram person who just found out, she inboxed me, that one of her sons was traumatized at a very young age in a very ugly way. So how do you deal with those sudden traumatized things? How do we live in a very traumatic world, but we can be resilient. And one key way of being resilient is a declaration. So I want you to grab this declaration. I don't have it memorized. I just wrote it out. And I want to speak this into the airwaves over you. Are you ready? Okay. You don't have to be perfect to walk this out. Okay? This is about your mind, will, and emotions coming into inner unity with your spirit identity. So that's all in your DNA, lined in your very DNA, your spirit identity. You walking out according to what God says, not what the news says. Are you ready? Here we go. This is for you. Light has shined on you. His presence invaded you as you surrendered. In that glory, you have found forgiveness for your sins. You now radiate and reflect His majestic love. You hear His voice, and you share it, and you declare it. You are His revivalists. Many will come to this light in you, in the vine. You will be the hero of your family, bringing hope for restoration. You will be the much-needed salt to a world that's lost its appetite for a loving meal at the Father's table. You will be the repairer of the breach. You will be the hero of your family, bringing hope for restoration. Your eyes will shine. Your heart will be filled with joy as you walk in abundance of connections, wealth, shalom, and hope. God's mercy will be lavished on you by his grace. In this abiding place, you'll walk in your spirit as a revivalist, as a breaker anointed messenger. You are beautiful and a joy to many. I need to say that again. You are beautiful and a joy to many. You are dressed with the clothing of salvation and draped with a robe of righteousness. You are clothed with salvation and draped with a robe of righteousness. Not by anything we've done. It's the finished work of the cross. Once and for all, Jesus healed all our diseases. Once and for all, we can rise in our spirit identity and walk on. So I want you to copy and paste that declaration for you. Say it over yourself. Say it over your family. One precious person said, I need a refrigerator magnet with that. I do too. That's a great idea. But I'm finding something really interesting. As things shift in the atmosphere, I can be taken down by that shift, negative on news, all of this fears, real fears. Or I can say, wait a minute, Christ in me, the hope of glory. Just as Jesus is in the world, so are you. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. So it's not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. See, I could just continue to flip my own soul to align with my spirit and be an answer. It might be just an answer in your own home. That your home's gotten a little dark and heavy, and then this news just kind of, or maybe it's in your situation that you're walking out. You are walking in soul health, but you feel like you got tripped up. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Light has shined on you. It's the light of his glory of the Lord. You can take that glory, shine it on your heart, shine in those areas that are traumatized. What's revealed in the light is covered by the blood. So, I just so passionate. And I'm glad I'm passionate, because I wasn't passionate the last few days. In fact, one of the days I felt like myself, I go down in this deep, like mental thing, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? Rise up, O soul. So I had like Wednesday? I had 2 days of just soaking in the word. I took a day off just to soak, to listen to some teaching online about prayer, just to listen to someone else, because the rattle of the chatter in my brain was starting to rev up and the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And I remembered this. And as I was sitting here finishing up podcast number 109, I'm like, this needs to be put in the airwaves for you, because you're valuable. Okay? This is the year God has turned the tide. Is there no wonder for the resistance? But the tide has turned for you. You can still walk in your dreams today. You can still say, wait a minute, I'm holding on hope against all hope. I'm going to stand strong. So, just a short word. And I just want you to say that out loud. Make some declarations out loud, friend. Let me declare over you. You are the repairer of the breach. Light has shined on you. You are his much-loved daughter, his much-loved son. You are the answer to people's questions. You have the answer because the answer is living inside of you. You have every reason to have hope, because Christ in you is the hope of glory. All right. Am I revved up enough? My son probably wants a cup of coffee, so I'll let you go. And I'm not going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to finish my work and believe in you. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Carry it and shift an atmosphere today.